Today we're going to talk about my 5 favorite features of the Festool Kapex Miter Saw. This thing is incredible, so stick around. Starting off with number 5, it's definitely these heavy-duty rails. These are on both sides of the saw. They're about 30 millimeters or just under 1.25 inches. There's no deflection to these things. You couldn't ask for better rails on a saw. Super easy to unlock this, be able to slide the saw forward, slide the saw backwards. This thing glides on here effortlessly. One of my favorite features about these rails is definitely the special position latch. We go ahead and pull this green lever in the back down, slide the saw back till it locks in place, and now we can cut taller pieces or crown molding super easy. Even though this is a 10-inch miter saw, the way the rails are set up, this thing has the capacity of most 12-inch saws. Number 4 is the fast fix blade change. This green dial right here, we just go ahead and push that in and turn it to the right. That's going to lock out the top trigger on the saw so that we can't power it on. We need to do that because at some point we got to lift the blade guard, and the only way to do that is by pulling the bottom trigger halfway. But once the saw's in fast fix mode, the arbor is also locked. Now we can go ahead and remove the arbor nut, super easy. We'll take out this arbor washer and our blade is now free. To install, we just repeat the process. Super easy. Slide the blade back onto the arbor, install our arbor washer and our arbor nut. Now these things don't have to be crazy tight. There's a lot of people that over tighten these and that's just not good for anything. Just get that on there snug. Now we'll just turn this dial back to the left to release fast fix mode and we'll be able to power the saw on. Number 3 is definitely the bevel system on this saw. This thing is absolutely amazing. Just lift this black lever back here and that'll allow the saw to turn. This green dial in the back has 3 different settings. -0 to 45 degrees, which means we can do a left bevel, and we can go back and there's a positive stop at 0. I've tested this many times. The 45 degree and the 0 degree return are spot on. The next setting is the plus or minus 45, which allows us to be able to bevel 45 degrees to the right or to the left, and there's no positive stop in between. There's also a setting for plus or minus 47, so if you have to make a 46 or 47 degree bevel cut, this is perfect. My favorite part of the bevel system though is definitely the micro adjustment. We turn this knob left or right, and we can turn it slow or we can turn it as fast as we want. We can still move the saw freehand and then dial it in just the last degree or two. I know we're moving through these kind of fast, but number 2 is definitely the depth stop. So this green tab right here, if we go ahead and pull this forward, the saw is only going to be able to come down to where the depth stop allows it. Now we can adjust this. If we turn it counterclockwise, the saw can cut deeper, and if we turn it clockwise, the saw can cut shallower. Wherever we set that thing, it is on every time. So if you know anything about cutting a dado or a half lap joint, something like that on a miter saw, they can be a little bit tricky, but this thing is consistent and I love it. We're just going to check that our blade depth is about halfway through that board right there. This doesn't have to be super accurate, it's just a test. And just like that, we got a perfect dado cut into this board. Super repeatable process. I can make as many of those as I want and they're all going to be identical. The number 1 feature is definitely the dust collection. Festool advertises 91% of the dust is captured when using their Festool dust extractor. I have this hooked up to a 3 horsepower 230 volt jet dust collector. That thing is like 30 years old. It's built like a tank and it does at least 91%. There is almost no dust around this thing, no matter how many cuts I make. Let's check it out and try to focus on the boot back here as the saw comes down and how much dust is getting pulled into that area. And then I'll zoom you in to take a look around the saw itself. All right, there's a tiny bit of dust on this saw and I've been using it for about 2 days, haven't cleaned it off, but you can see the little bit of dust is right here and there's a little bit down on the miter gauge down here, but all in all, this saw is super clean. I hope videos like this help you out. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.